Yeah, today we might be beginning late, but we will not lack what to discuss. Uh, this evening we had, sorry for that. This evening we had the party of the community of Kisii unveiling its own political front, and they're saying that they are going to approach 2022 as one people. So they are desiring to go as a block. This evening we also had Mudavadi unveiling the SG of ANC party. Today also Jubilee nominated Joel Ngungi as a replacement for the late Senator Victor, who was representing the Ogiek community. There are those who say that Ngungi deserved the post. However, there are those who had issue with it and say that the community deserved the seat. They would have looked into the plight of the Ogiek community and gave them back their seat. So we have those three subtopics we can discuss in 1 or 2 hours, and then we call it a night. So you're welcome. I will start by sharing the clip of what the Gusii community was speaking, in line with the late found unity. We have seen members of UDA, Fort Kenya, and ODM and other Jubilee members coming together, and they are saying they are speaking as a community. And they want to approach 2022 as a united front. So the caucuses, Azimio, tutasema ni Azimio la umoja ama ni Azimio la makabila. So you're welcome, and let's have your input on what is happening in Gusii land, in ANC, new phase of leadership, and Jubilee's replacement of the late Senator Victor Prerengei. Hiyo jina ni ngumu kutamuka, but nimejaribu. Okay. So let me share a link to the comment section. Feel free to join the studio. You can also make your comments and we will sample them. And if there's time, we can read all your comments. Okay, let me share 1 or 2 clips on what happened.
CSS, Ayeko, Obure, Ngungi, just to mention but a few. That notwithstanding, we must appreciate clear judicial notice of the current regime's tenure. And it is in this regard that we are desirous of opening our hawk-eyes for our people's next political dispensation as their trusted representatives. We have been watching events unfolding in the Kenyan political space with keen interest. It is now very clear to Kenyans that communities are having internal conversations on how to secure their interests ahead of 2022 general elections. As elected leaders from the Gusii community, we would be failing in our collective responsibility if we do not offer leadership at this critical point in time and history. This is a mandate that we will discharge without fear or favor. We would like to inform Kenyans that we shall be having a series of consultative meetings with all the leaders and stakeholders from the Gusii community to identify and streamline our political and economic interests. The national conversation must be alive to our people's unique role and standing in our country. We hope that the 2022 permutations and combinations will secure our community's interest. We wish to remind all and sundry that the Gusii community will not be passengers in the Kenyan political dispensations. We intend to become shareholders and not supporters. Our support will now be aligned to our political and economic interests. It is in this regard that our community will be reviewing all the available options, and they include, but not limited to, establishing a fully fledged national party, supporting a national party that is alive to our political and economic interests, or engaging with other like-minded parties to achieve our people's dreams. We promise to remain loyal to our community and the national interest. In line with the foregoing, we have resolved to have a consultative meeting with various stakeholders, particularly professionals, drawn from the larger Gusii community within the next 1 week. And this meeting, of course, will culminate into holding several consultative meetings at the grassroots within our 2 counties. We therefore wish to declare that this time, we won't be spectators, but participants. We won't be subs in the team, but we'll be in the pitch playing. We won't be led to sing.
That is Onzoro speaking. He was a member of, he's a member of UDA, but now speaking on behalf of the Gusii community. Let's have
tungependa kulifanya jukumu letu kama viongozi kuhakikisha kuwa eneo letu la Kisii na Nyamira ni maeneo ambayo yangependa kujihusisha kwa mfumo mpya wa kisiasa ambao umeanza Kenya hii. Na ningependa kusema kuwa kwanza tunampatia heshima sana na asante zetu Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, ambaye wakati aliposhika nyadhifa za uongozi wake kama rais wa Kenya alipatia ndugu zetu na kinadada ambao wanatoka maeneo yetu kule Kisii na Nyamira, na akawapatia kazi fulani ambao wamekuwa kiendelea. Haswa sana ukiangalia kazi ya mzee ambaye tunamheshimu sana, mzee Maraga, ambaye alifanya kazi yake akamaliza na heshima, na wale viongozi wengine katika mashirika ya kiserikali na katika serikali yenyewe kama Mheshimiwa Dr. Fred Matiang'i ambaye ni kiongozi wetu ambaye tunamheshimu sana. Kwa hivyo tunasema asante kwa Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Jambo la pili, tumekuwa tukiangalia mabadiliko ambayo yapo. Tulingojea kuwepo na BBI ambayo ilitupwa na mahakama, na Wakenya sisi kama viongozi wa eneo la Kisii tunajua kuwa serikali, katiba ambayo tunayo inamfanya kiongozi yule ambaye akichukua uongozi anachukua kila kitu. Kwa hivyo tungependa kusema haya, jamii yetu ya Mkisii tumeamua kuwa tutafanya kazi pamoja na vyama ambavyo viko sahizi, vile ambavyo tutakuwa naangalia maslahi yetu kama wananchi wa eneo la Kisii. Jambo la pili, tumeamua kuwa ikiwezekana tukipata kuwa vyama hivi vingine havichukui maslahi yetu kwa undani, tuna jukumu la kuhakikisha kuwa tutasajili chama chetu ambacho kitasimamia mambo ya kisiasa kutoka eneo la Kisii na Nyamira. Na vile mnavyoona, ukiangalia Mlima Kenya wanazungumzia hilo jambo, ukienda magharibi mwa Kenya wanazungumzia hilo jambo, ukienda pwani wanazungumzia hilo jambo. Kwa hivyo sisi tunasema kama wa Kenya tunaelewa kuwa sasa maneno ya kuongea siasa ya mdomo hayapo. Tutakuwa na chombo ambacho kitatusaidia ili sisi na sisi tuwe tunafanya negotiation na wale ambao wanataka kuja kuchukua kura zetu na wale ambao wanataka kuchukua uongozi wa nchi hii. Jambo la pili, tungependa kusema kwamba jamii yetu Uliza wale viongozi wa kuukuu, wa vigogo wa kuukuu ambao wanajihusisha kutafuta njia vile wanaweza kuchukua uongozi wa Kenya. Sisi tungependa watafute muda wa kuja kutuzungumzia kama viongozi kutoka eneo la Kisii na viongozi wa Nyamira, kwa sababu yale mambo ambayo wanatukera tungependa tuzungumze nao na wao watuambie wanafikiria ni lipi ambalo watafanyia eneo letu ama maeneo yetu mahali tunatoka. Jambo la mwisho, ningependa kusema kuwa sisi hatuna vita na mtu. Tumekubaliana tutawazungumzia hawa viongozi wote wale vigogo ambao wako. Alafu tutakubaliana sisi kama viongozi, na tukishajadiliana na wale viongozi ambao wako kule mashinani Kisii, hatujazungumza na gavana wetu Ongwae na gavana Nyaribo, hatujazungumza na MCA, wote tutawajumlisha, tuketi na wao tuzungumze, kwa sababu hili jambo ni jambo nyeti na ni jambo ambalo lazima kila mtu alizungumzie. Kumalizia, Mheshimiwa Matiang'i ambaye ndiye anasimamia wale wafanyikazi wote kutoka eneo la Kisii ambao wanafanya kazi kwa serikali ya Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, tumemuuliza na tumesema kuwa hata yeye tungependa achukue jukumu hili, ahakikishe kuwa sasa tuanze kuongea kama viongozi wa Kisii, tuanze kuongea kama wananchi ambao ama viongozi ambao wanataka kupata suluhu kwa zile shida ambazo zinasumbua kule Kisii. Na tunaelewa kuwa tukiwa pamoja kama viongozi mnavyotuona hivi, nadhani ukiangalia sana, hii itakuwa mara ya kwanza kwa karibu miaka 10 iliyopita kupata viongozi wa Nyamira na viongozi wa Kisii kuja pamoja kuzungumzia maneno ambayo yanawakera wananchi wa kawaida kule mashinani, na tunaamini kuwa tutapata suluhu na tuendelee mbele. Asante sana.
So members will take
Okay, so that is how things were in that regional caucus or the Gusii Nation caucus meeting. They resolved to work together. If they don't get their interests met in the parties that are existing, they are going to form their own party. And so that is how things are going on. We have the Mount Kenya coming up with their own caucus. Kisii Nation coming up with their own caucus. We are waiting for the Luhya unity and these other tribes to come together and declare the united front. So what do you think? How comes our tribes are always active when we near election? So will the new mantra of Hustler Nation stand the tribal caucuses? Because we see now people coming from different affiliations and fast identifying with their own tribe. Penny, welcome. You are the first person to come. I will ask you to make your initial comment. As I also encourage people to comment in the comment section, I'll be reading their comments as they trickle in. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. We are in a very interesting political dispensation. And the question of whether I support or not the regional or the tribal caucuses is something that is neither here nor there, because I think this has been triggered by the way Moses Kuria came out and lobbied for the Mount Kenya region, stating that his irreducible minimum would be 40%. And looking at the composition of our tribes in Kenya, we are around 46 tribes. So for Moses Kuria to have come out and demanded for 40% of the government, I think is such discussions are what is now triggering the other regions, because now people are beginning to realize that it is either they come out and lay their demands or nothing will ever happen to them. So I think the courier factor has played a very big role in triggering these kind of tribal negotiations where people are coming out and asking what is in there for us. So I think it's inevitable, and so many regions are going to come out with their demands. They are going to lay forth their demands that this is our irreducible minimum. Nobody is willing to go just vote and then be at the mercy of the bigger tribes. And that is why people are coming out now to also have a share bargain of the cake, of the national cake.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a stage at which we are in. It might not necessarily be good, but I think there are so many factors that are playing that is triggering all this. It's not necessarily good because when we are polarized along tribal lines, it can be a bit, it's not a very good thing, but I think it's a process that we will have to go through as a nation before we can now stabilize and be like the established countries like US. I think it's something that is quite inevitable. We will reach there. There's still a lot of hope for us. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, comment on the nomination of Ngungi as the replacement for the late Senator Victor. Did Jubilee miss the mark or they did the right thing? There are those who have the view that yes, Ngungi played a right role, a very vital role in Jubilee re-election.
Yeah.
And there are those who have the view that Ogiek community should have retained the seat. What do you think?
Okay, my opinion of the situation is that Jubilee missed, because you see people are very sensitive about their tribes, and it was about the minority seat. Yeah, and Ogiek is the minority tribe here. So according to me, I think Jubilee missed it. They should have maintained an Ogiek for the position, because our politics are currently based along, we mainly play along the tribal lines. So taking Ngugi to replace the late senator was not the best decision for Jubilee to make. They should have just maintained an Ogiek in that position. So according to me, they missed it. They
Yes.
missed the mark.
But do people understand the dynamics of nomination? Because sometimes in replacing the nominated members, you have to go to the list of the names you had given to the IEBC,
Yeah.
and then pick one of the names of those who are remaining. It's not like you can come up with a new name. Do people understand those dynamics?
Yes, we do. And you see,
Yes,
when
because
someone like,
people are, what I'm saying is people are imagining that there's another Ogiek on that list. So that he could have picked that one.
but you see, when Governor Kinyanjui comes out clearly and also supports the fact that the position should have been given to an Ogiek, then it makes us conclude that probably there was an Ogiek who was not picked from the list. We don't know how many people presented their names there. So when you see someone like Governor Lee Kinyanjui coming out clearly and saying that Jubilee has missed the mark, and him being the governor, then it's clear, it's in the public domain that there probably could have been some Ogiek who was left. We are not sure how many people gave out their names. We are not we don't know whose names were in the list. But by the way, Governor Lee is coming out clearly to defend the position, makes us imagine that probably the nomination was not very done very fairly.
Okay, thank you for your contribution on that. What is your view on the new SG for ANC? Are they creating a national outlook? Because people have been accusing ANC of looking more of a village party than a national outfit.
Okay, I think it's still too early to comment on that. I don't know what other considerations they made before making the choice. So whether or not the choice of Ngungi is going to give the party a national outlook, it's something that we cannot start commenting at this point. Maybe it's something that we need to give time for us to be able to comment. But I think it's a plus for them actually to have selected him to be the Secretary General. It's actually a plus for them because it will give them that national outlook. But like I've said, it's still too early for us to make any conclusions whether
Okay.
or not it's the right choice.
Okay, let me read a few comments, and then perhaps you can respond to some of them.
Yeah.
There's somebody called Trust.
Yeah.
Anasema habari ndio hiyo sasa, sisi washirika. Okay, that is just a general comment. He has said that Kenyans vote on a tribal-based model, so I support a Gusii community for that move. Okay, Trust supports that caucus for Gusii community. Onzoro, if you can't beat them, join them. Time for cows kurudi zizini. Okay. Patrick anasema Kikuyu tuko na baba 2022. Justin Kanyari anasema Kanyarir anasema sisi kama Wakisii tunataka tukae kwa meza tukule nyama kama wengine, sio kila wakati tukue kando tukiangalia wengine wakikula nyama. Okay, that's how Kenyans view the political arrangement. When we are facing an election, they need to be on a table.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your take?
Okay. I'm in support of this, like I said before, because when other communities, like our brothers and sisters from Mount Kenya, clearly have come out and even laid demands of what they would wish to have, then it's actually a triggering factor to other communities, because from the look of things, if you watch and go vote without laying your demands, then it's like nobody is gonna fight for you. So I'm totally in support of this. Nobody wants to be a spectator. Yeah, like Kuria normally says that hatutaki kucheza ngoma ya watu wengine, we also have our music. So as many tribes as possible should come out and lay their demands, and bargain what they would wish to get from the national whatever, what their share would be from the national cake. I'm completely in support of that, because if other people are doing it, why not the others? Who is gonna fight for them? From the look of things, it seems like the more passive you are, nobody is gonna fight for you. So I think it's paramount that people come out and form their caucuses and lay their demands.
Now, we have been saying that there are two main horses.
Yeah,
Now, looking at what is happening with the tribal or the regional caucuses,
yeah,
who is likely to benefit from this alignment and realignment? Or it can go either way. Because in one hand, UDA leader said that he doesn't want tribal affiliations.
yeah,
So for him, he wants a homogeneous group.
yeah,
On the other side is Azimio la Umoja. They encourage people to come as
yeah,
groups
yeah,
and then be united together.
yeah.
So which horse will benefit from these tribal caucuses?
Okay, at this point, it's still too early to make a conclusion as to who will benefit and who will not. We are still we are still a long way to go, you know. Things will unfold as time goes by. So maybe UDA will make up their mind and decide that they cannot go to elections on their own. They might find it necessary to also enter into coalitions. So like I've just commented, it's still too early to make any judgments. It's still too early.
Did you watch yesterday Waiguru?
Yes, I did.
What do you think is her game plan in all this arrangement of regional people coming together and for her deciding to join one party? Or
Okay,
is she testing the waters?
for Waiguru, it's very difficult to come out and make a conclusion what her game plan is, because so far she hasn't come out concretely and given a firm word as to whether or not she has joined UDA. So I think for me, she's still testing the waters. She hasn't made her mind. She hasn't made up her mind yet. So probably maybe she still thinks that the deep state is going to reach out to her, you know. Maybe there are still some games she's trying to play. So I don't know what she's up to. She hasn't really come out clearly and said that now she has joined UDA. Apart from the declaration yesterday when she was asking her constituents on whether or not she can join UDA, but she hasn't come out clearly as far as I'm concerned, not unless something else has happened, but she hasn't really declared her stand.
Yeah, when we were beginning, people thought that Uhuru maybe was planning to elevate Matiang'i to be his surprise candidate. Do you
Yeah.
think he stands chances? Do you think if the whole uh, Gusii community backs him, he stands a chance of inheriting the presidency or taking after Uhuru?
Okay, that's also a very difficult question because you see, politics also needs some level of experience. Matiang'i hasn't been a politician, and it is a completely new career for him to be in politics and to be a presidential candidate. But like I said, it's still very early. You never know. Maybe Raila might come out and support him, and he'll be like Matiang'i Tosha. So I think there are so many factors that are going to unfold as time goes by. It's still, like I said, it's still too early. Yeah, we can give it like 1 or 2 months. By probably November, October, we'll be in a position to to make judgments by the way things will unfold. But at this point, it's still a bit early. It's still too early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you support a female candidate for president or running mate? You know, we have been told that ladies are their own enemies.
Yeah.
Do you support people who are coming up like Mother Karua?
Okay, for me, Matakarua might have her, she might have her mistakes, so she might have her weaknesses. But for me, I think Matakarua would really blend in as a running mate to any of the of the horses, either Raila or the deputy president. Yeah, I think she would really, I would really support her candidature to be a running mate to either the DP or Raila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa sawa. And then there's something called Limuru 3.
Yeah.
Uh, do we expect Uhuru Kenyatta to appear in Limuru 3 and say, this is my candidate and I expect the mountain to speak in a particular manner or to follow in this direction? Or do you think he will allow the group to arrange, but he will not appear or directly support it? Maybe he can only support it from behind the scene. What is
Okay.
your speculation of
Again,
Limuru 3?
about the Limuru 3, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to make a conclusion whether they're in communication with the Uhuru or they are not, because when you look at the conversations that Moses Kuria has, when he comes out and says that the last time that he spoke to the president was 3 years ago, and then when you look at the way he's an ardent supporter of the deputy president and the way he opposes BBI, it leaves one wondering whether there's a possibility that he could support Mr. Uhuru. He still comes out very clearly as someone who is behind UDA. So it much as people say that he could be a mole in the UDA party working for President Uhuru and the deep state, it is still, it's not coming very clearly what their game plan is at the moment, and probably
Yeah,
they will.
but don't you think that backtracking, unless they have a different game plan, can it help them? Because someone was angling to be a running mate, then all of a sudden he changes tune to something else.
Yeah,
And do you see where they were? They also hate contenders. They hate competitors.
yeah.
So does it help? Just as we're asking ourselves, how does Waiguru's move from Jubilee to UDA help her chances of capturing the seat when she knows the strongest competitor is already established in that party? So are people making the right moves? Or
For
is
Waiguru,
it
I think,
testing the waters and gauging the reactions of the voters?
okay, for Honorable Waiguru, I think for her at this point, it's not about which party she joins, because you see her going into the UDA, purity is already established, and she has been there with the DP and stood with the DP for the longest time. And from the conversations that we have been having, you can clearly see that she seems to be the preferred candidate. A lot of people seem to prefer working with her, and Waiguru is changing, facing a lot of challenges. because of some people are alleging that she has not performed to the standards. And then also looking at her background, the problems and the allegations that the have been there, like Martha alleged that she stole her election. So I think for Waiguru, it doesn't matter what party she goes to, she might not necessarily retain her gubernatorial, her whatever. She might not necessarily retain her seat, but she can choose to probably just join whichever party or UDA. If she's chosen UDA, she could probably just choose to join UDA and probably wait for an appointment. But again, the DP made it very clearly after she had joined that they were going to have an equal chance during nominations. So let's wait and see whether she's gonna beat Purity or vice versa. Yeah, because if the DP is going to promise them a level playing ground, then I think it would be better for them to fight it out, so that whoever wins will be the one to now go for the governor's seat.
Now, as the caucuses continue, do you think OCA still exists? Because in these caucuses, I've seen in one side, I've seen one of the MPs that was elected on Fort Kenya ticket siding with the UDA. Today, I've seen the deputy party leader of Fort Kenya fronting the Gusii unity. Does OCA still exist? Like now, if one party has been dismembered, like I don't know who is remaining in Fort Kenya. I don't know who is remaining in Kanu. Majority have joined UDA. So
it's a very it's a very complicated kind of politics, in the sense that when you hear Moses Kuria saying that their unity, they are coming together, is only as far as they are concerned, is only as their interests are concerned, but it doesn't trickle into the person you're supporting. So I don't know how these caucuses are going to work, in the sense that when you look at the Abagusi caucus, Silvanus Osoro is known to be a strong supporter of the DP, whereas we have someone like Simba Arati, who is a strong ODM supporter. Millicent Omanga is a strong supporter of the DP. So I don't know how it will be possible for these people to speak as one in their caucuses, and also be able to maintain their loyalty to their respective parties. I don't know how that is gonna happen, because one thing has to die. It's either the loyalty to their parties, to their party officials, has to die. They have to sacrifice one thing. You can't have your cake and eat it. One thing has to go. If they choose to go by the tribal caucuses, then they have to stop being loyal to their former parties. So there is no way Moses Kuria will claim that they are forming they are fronting the Mount Kenya unity, while at the same time he seems to be still supporting the DP. And likewise,
but when you look at him critically, when did he last speak about Hustler Nation? It seems he's changing the political stance. it's like when the rain stops raining, it subsides. It causes drizzling, then finally stops. So the first thing they did is to bring down the activities before they can and start questioning a few things so that they prepare ground for moving whichever political direction they want to move.
Yes.
Um, but I don't think they will still move in the direction they were moving, in the speed they were moving,
Yeah.
unless I think, like they say, politics is about interest.
Yeah.
Moses Kuria had an interest that he would be the running mate, just as Mwangi Kiunjuri.
Yeah.
They also knew that alongside with the DP, they will build their parties such that when Uhuru exits the scene,
Yeah.
even if they are in a hustler nation, but they will have parties that can give them a say on the mountain.
Yeah.
But on their disappointment when they were told that they need to fold their parties and join UDA,
Yeah.
that is when the rain started beating them.
Yeah.
So they decided if kama ni mbaya ni mbaya,
Ni mbaya.
if we have to lose one, then they would rather lose the hustle nation and remain with their parties.
Yeah.
I think they are focusing on the future. They are not exactly sure
Yeah.
who will be the kingpin.
Yeah.
So if they don't become either kingpin, they need to have parties that it may help them to have a bargaining share,
Yeah.
a bargaining ground for what they are questing for in the future. And that's why for them it's very important to have those political parties.
Yeah.
Rather than, and they are also, in my view, they are looking at the fallouts that will come out of nominations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Najua tu kuna mtu ataenda huko. For example, let's now give an example. We have the UDA,
Yeah.
we have Ngirishi, and let's say if Anna Waiguru joins UDA,
Yeah.
those will be two strong candidates.
Yeah.
So one of them will lose in nomination.
Yeah.
And most of the time, this is what politicians do. When somebody loses in nomination and they want to be on the ballot, in fact, they normally go to the nomination with already having an alternative.
Yeah.
If he or she misses on the nomination, picks a briefcase party and then runs. If there is no option for that, then they go independent. So that is what is the small parties are eyeing. They want to reap out of they know the bigger the party, the more people will be disgruntled.
Yeah.
And they'll have a chance to harvest in that.
Yeah.
And they know also, they are also fearing what happened to their colleagues. You remember
Yeah.
was it the 54% rule?
Yes.
Where people were paid nomination based on the on a logarithm.
Yeah.
So they think like this nomination thing, you can be in a big party, but if the boss doesn't want you, you'll be locked out.
Yeah.
And this, so they are looking at that option so
Yeah.
that somebody is in a party where he can have a say
Yeah.
and secure their nomination until they reach the ballot box.
True.
So
True.
those are the arithmetics they are having, and
Yeah.
that's why they will not exactly fold their parties.
Yeah.
But this other irreducible minimum is what brings jitters.
Yes.
There are the irreducible minimums that they say whoever meets this will be
Yeah.
our candidate.
Yeah.
Comment on irreducible minimum.
They are quite unrealistic because when you look at the Kenyan composition of the tribes, we have 46 tribes. So if we have this one tribe who is claiming a whole 40% of the national share of the national cake, then to me it's not very realistic. What will happen to the minority like the Ogieks? What will happen to the guys from the coast? What will happen to our brothers and sisters from Ukambani if only one tribe is claiming 40%? What will the ruling party have to share nationally, you see? So for me 40% is not realistic. They can start from that, but I think there is still a lot that needs to be to be considered. There's still a lot of consideration. Asking for 40% for me is not being realistic. Yeah. Matters, they are the biggest in terms of votes, but I think they should be fairer to there should be a mechanism for distribution of the national cake other than just demanding laying demands that you want 40%. For me 40% is not doable at all. So does it
Okay.
mean that
They were
the
asked
ban?
a very valid question. They were asked a very valid question. Why do you guys want 40%?
Yeah,
And you are basing it on a tribal arithmetic.
yeah,
Whereas you know very well that not all your people live in one region. They are
yeah,
spread across.
yeah,
So they will be, in other words, they will get those services from where they are.
yeah,
For example, me, I stay in Machakos.
yeah,
So whether you give me someone from Bungoma, I don't know whether you will help me. And I am here in Machakos. I need my services come from where I stay.
yeah,
If it's good roads, is also where I stay. So I think people need to understand that if the whole nation is served, then we all enjoy.
yeah,
So what benefit should we have good roads in my small town in Bungoma
yeah,
and lack good roads in Machakos, lack good roads in Nakuru.
yeah,
And if I'm going to my small town, Bungoma, I have to pass through Nakuru, pass through Eldoret, you see. I'll
yeah,
still be affected with if the development is not evenly spread,
yeah,
and then in my business will be affected, my movement, my operative environment will not be good for me.
yeah,
So that is what Kenyans need to look at instead of this small tribe or cocoon. It feels good anyway to have your person at the helm of leadership,
yeah.
but apart from how long does a feeling last?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we need to think. We need to think critically when we are looking at leadership.
Oh, maybe I have a question for you concerning Honorable Matiang'i. Do you think their conversation is going to culminate into a political party, and will he be a presidential candidate? What is the purpose of all this, of all these the discussions that they had today? Does he intend to go to the ballot, or what is their game plan according to you?
Yeah, okay. This is what happens as they talk about national cake
Yeah,
and the prospects of the future. He may
yeah,
not be running for presidency, but he's looking beyond 2022 what will happen.
Okay.
And sometimes, if they have a party, they will say, now, this is what we will use to bargain for, even if it's those ministerial posts or whatever in the government,
Yeah.
but also for the future planning. And
Yeah.
two, in terms of, when you go on that table,
Yeah.
you always ask, what are you bringing on the table?
Yeah.
And that's why it's very important for people to take time to consolidate their base.
Yeah.
So some people want to appear national, yes, but when you look at the backyard, they don't have a support.
Yeah.
And so when you go on that table, some people, that's why some people have no say in the succession politics right now.
Yeah.
They may project themselves as presidential candidates,
Yeah.
but when they are seated on that table, they cannot say anything.
Yeah.
Why? What are you bringing on the table?
True.
Yeah, so that is what makes politicians, and they know the easiest way to have a say is to fall on your tribe. The best scenario is to come up with a policy which is accepted across.
Yeah.
So regardless of which tribe, but people will buy you.
Yeah.
Maybe they will buy your economic model. They will buy your policy on, let's say, on healthcare. They'll buy your policy on education or whatever.
Yeah.
But the challenge is in most of African countries, we don't vote leaders based on ideology,
Yeah.
but based on where they come from.
Yeah.
So we will not listen. If you do anything else, we say, okay, there was some echo. Sorry for that. So if you do anything else against our leader, we say we are being targeted. Even if I have looted, I'm looting on behalf of Penny. So you just feel good when I'm progressing because I'm representing your interests. But if we grow and we become mature and we look at leaders in terms of what they offer to the society and what I stand to benefit in terms of policy, we will be looking at them in terms of. I think I like Mudavadi's economic model. I like Mudavadi's approach in terms of education, like that.
Yeah.
But in fact, I have many people who are bashing me. Eric, why are you not supporting your person? Unajua anaitwa Mudavadi na wewe ukifamilia kwa Ruto, kwa Raila, kwa... You see, that is how we see people. In fact, somebody looks at my second name. That's Wekesa. You must be in Fort Kenya. And even I'm not in Fort Kenya, they wonder what is wrong with this man. And again, can everybody succeed in Fort Kenya? Let me ask, if Obama came to Kenya, can he be president?
No.
No. So not everybody will succeed in one party. There are people who will succeed in different parties. There are those who blossom in ODM. There are those who will blossom in UDA. There are those who blossomed in Jubilee, and that's okay. There are those even who have blossomed in those we call the village parties. But for them, that is what gives them relevance. If you remove that village party, they are not relevant. So you can't force them to be in that big party. They don't know how to survive in those big parties. Because there are those actually who cannot stand and compete with people fairly in a crowded nomination or a crowded race. They want to be those small parties so that they can play around with the party tickets. Welcome, community. Welcome, Themba. Today, I must apologize. I started very late, but I just said we can have a discussion even if it's 1 hour or 30 minutes and call it a day. After all, kina liners wamekuwa hapa only for 40 minutes and they have gone. So we can also have a discussion even if it's 40 minutes. It doesn't have to be all night. And sometimes you can have a man-to-man discussion. It doesn't have to be combative, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're welcome. I had 2, 3 small subtopics. You can just weigh in on Kisii Nation. They are trying to have a united front. Then we have Mudavadi is trying to create a national image from village party. And then we have Jubilee trying to explain why they settled on Ngungi instead of going back to the Ogiek community and giving them somebody what they deserved. They say that that was their seat. So you can weigh in on those 3 subtopics. Today we don't have hot topics, but we can have just man-to-man conversation.
Yeah, good evening, community. Good evening, Pamela. I think it's evening, I hope, wherever you are. And good night, good morning. You pick as best suits you. I want to start by weighing in on the caucuses. Politics is generally local, and appreciation that there is a need for to have a bargaining power within your community, especially for Kenyan politics. It's a key thing, you know. And I'm thinking that that is a good move for them. I know that they are the initial points, so they're still, even themselves, they are viewing each other with a lot of suspicion because they are coming from different parties as at now. So theirs is more of a reaction to what Moses Kuria, the Mount Kenya guys are coming up with. I think a few days ago, we had a conversation here around what Moses Kuria had said. And my argument was that instead of castigating Moses Kuria, the other communities need also to meet and then present what they need on the table. Then from there, the conversation can start. But for as long as these other communities are not coming together and presenting what they have on the table for whoever is going to come to them, then Moses Kuria's assertion still, remains. So I think that for some reason is a good thing when they start caucusing around themselves. The impact is going to be seen as we move by because they also need to work on their internal cohesion first. The Mount Kenya thing also is still facing problems because they haven't internally had a good cohesion that will make them probably come up with one voice because they're still coming from different parties. So there's the party of affiliation vis-a-vis the community where you come from. So those are challenges that I think they will have to contend with. Internal suspicion, not knowing what is it that every other person wants, as opposed to just coalescing around, the tribal card. I think that is something that they'll have a lot of work to work on. But it's a good start. It's a good conversation. It's a good conversation if they are able. Today, when I saw Osoro and Arati on the same, same stage, that was a good thing for the Gusii community. Are they going to come up with another party? That I think is also another interesting scenario. How is it that your party, one party, can take into consideration all your interests? How are you going to spread the positions? So that's an interesting conversation that you want to see, because I know in Kisii and larger Nyamira area, they do have ODM as a very strong party down there. So the people who are negotiating there were others from, independent like Osoro, there was Wiper, there was Ford Kenya. So I don't know how they are going to negotiate. As for Mudavadi, choosing someone, appointing someone as a Secretary General, that in my view is a little not so significant. It might be a sign that they are trying to look national, but it's the chairman is still coming from Western region. The party is basically a Western party. So just changing one person, like we want to look national, we want young people. I find that as the joke of the week. But probably they're convinced that it's gonna paint them. We have this notion that if you have a different name within the upper echelon of the party, you are now embracing, diversity, which I don't think is true. The core organ of the ANC is still in Western. Ngungi, I think, is Kamau Ngungi, Kamau Peter somebody, Kimani something, who is coming in as a Secretary General. Is going to be a Secretary General like Omar Hassan was a Secretary General to Wiper. So Omar Hassan was picked by Wiper as a Secretary General, and then when he tried to change the way Wiper operates, he was shown the door because that's not his party. See, that's the way this guy is going to operate with the ANC. There's nothing he's going to do. He's going to be a puppet. He's just going to do what the party leader says, which I think is not unique to ANC or to Wiper. Most parties, even UDA, we may have that the chairman is this guy from Ukambani, and the Secretary General is this lady from Central Kenya. But the person who says everything that happens in UDA is Ruto. So if he doesn't say anything, nothing is going to happen. So generally, the parties in Kenya are individual. That's the unfortunate state of most of the parties in Kenya. Until we reach such a point where parties can be formed, not from up down, because most parties are from top down. If they're going to be formed from down up, where people meet and a movement forms and then a party forms and they choose their leaders, we are not going to have an independent people speaking in parties. So at least for that, I don't see any significant move, but for them, it's a significant move in terms of trying to paint their party as national. National is bringing a Kikuyu here and removing. That's an interesting way of viewing the way to paint your party national. But it's good for them. I mean, it's probably in their camp and their strategy. It is probably something they're seeing they can woo some people by that. He said that he wants his party to be a national and a youth party. So I don't know if plucking one person and putting in a Kikuyu and a young Kikuyu is gonna bring that. I'm going to find, but in my view, it looks like the biggest joke of the week. So I'm gonna want to see how it moves beyond that.
Themba, I have a question for
In
you.
terms of strategy,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think the tribal caucuses is a threat to the existence of UDA? What is your view of that?
I don't think so, because you see, UDA is still amorphous. we other than one parliamentary, it's UDA is generally, there's a lot of noise that have been made about UDA. But when the rubber has met the road, we have seen that UDA has not been able to confirm its existence as we would want to hear from the much noise that has been made, right? There has been a lot of noise about UDA, but now when it comes to performance on certain situations, you see, it is not delivering. It was not able to deliver in Kabuchai. It was not able to deliver in Kisii, Bomachoge. I mean, other than Kiambu, that it struggled to deliver. There's much of the other things is just still an amorphous creation. We are still being told that they are these people. So we don't know these people. We don't know UDA yet. So even as we move towards election, you'll find that there'll still be tribal caucuses, and they'll still be calling themselves within certain parties. So it's not a threat to UDA, because UDA is not still, it's still trying to find its footing. But one thing that we'll need to appreciate with the tribal caucusing is that any party that is going to find itself to have some level of strength come next year, we'll have to appreciate the conversations around particular groupings, like the coast, they are coming together, the central are coming together, the northeastern are coming together, and all of them are saying that whoever is coming to us, we want to negotiate as a group. All right. So whichever party that is going to form, all of them are trying to find a bargaining power. And here they are saying that you don't want to be invited on the table. We want to be part of those who are cutting the cake. So
Maybe
UDA,
maybe can I reframe her question?
go ahead.
Yeah, okay. UDA is the leader. You said most of these parties is about the leadership. The leader of UDA has been on record saying that he doesn't want this thing called tribal parties. Now, when people are caucusing into tribal outfits, when they go to him, will he accept them as tribal parties, or will he say, leave your parties there, come as you are to UDA? That song we sing in Christianity, come as you are.
But you see, you see Wekesa, the UDA leader has not been honest with Kenyans. One, he is in one side says that I don't want to negotiate with tribal parties, but on another sense, he's inviting the same tribal groupings to Karen House. The other day, there were tribal groupings coming from I don't know which part. Was it Makueni or wherever? The other day, he's actually negotiating with tribal groupings. You see, because if he wanted to negotiate with national leaders, he wouldn't have acknowledged the need for the even those who are coming. Like the other day, when there are people he was negotiating with from Kitui, who came. Even I think 2 days ago, there were people who came from Kikuyu land, I don't know Kiambu or where, who went to Karen House. So in one hand, he's saying that I don't want to negotiate with any tribal whatever, but on the other, is actually acknowledging the significance of those tribal groupings. Now, Osoro is one very key member of that UDA staff, and he was down there saying that us as Gusii community. So in one hand, is trying to bring this sense of saying that I don't want to, as we want to form a national movement. But that national movement, his realization and these people are telling him the reality is that you have to acknowledge the existence of these people. That's why they are trooping to Karen. If he had that in mind, then he wouldn't have been having those people trooping to Karen. He would have said, I want to be a national leader and I don't want to bring people. He would have just, move in. So as a political pundits and those who probably study the body language and what is not being said, you can pick that yes, this is what is said during the day, but this is what is being done during the night.
Yes, so partly you have accepted what Penny was saying, that these caucuses can be a threat to UDA. It may not be a threat in terms of, it can also even be a threat in terms of messaging. Because you're trying to put this message, then the way people are aligning themselves affect even your messaging. So you have seen them changing the message time to time. Huh? It began with Dynasty versus Hustlers, and then it changed to, it has been metamorphosizing based on the pressure put on them by the society. Okay, thank you so much, community ancestor. We have missed our ancestors. We were wondering whether we are communicating with the other world. Welcome back.
Yeah, asante. Yes,
Yes.
thank you so much, Mr. Wekesa.
Yeah, before
Madam.
even you make your contribution, let me answer. Is this guy or a lady called May TV? Kwani Mtembei TV ilinunuliwa na Ruto? Are you actually listening to what we are discussing? If you are listening, then you can't even comment that way. So I'll proceed.
Yeah. In fact, a community ancestor is still alive, well and kicking. So I haven't traveled to the forefathers' place. I was I've been busy a little bit. That is why I've been offline, yani off stage a little bit. Now, in fact, before I start, nataka nilete hiki kipuagizo kuwa, in fact, ikiwa just only in 2 hours you attend a church, and then in these 2 hours you go sleeping instead of hearing the sermon. And now I'm wondering, when you are going to heaven, whereby in every second you will be singing and jumping to the Almighty God, what will you do? Will you be able to will you be able to assist the work of God in terms of singing and praising Him? Yeah. Now back to the topic about these tribal caucuses, the likes of Ngungi. I've seen Ngungi, who has been nominated as a senator in the place of the fallen Senator Bringay, and also this young man who has been given an opportunity to serve in ANC party. Now about the Gusii community, politicians, the likes of Osoro, the likes of Onyonga, Millicent Omanga, Mumanyi, all of them coming together and charting the way forward in terms of in terms of these elections which are at the doorstep, mine is very simple, that the Gusii community, they have learned this. I don't know if it is a bad example or a good example from Moses Kuria. When Moses Kuria came to the television saying that Mount Kenya, whosoever who wants to quote them, he must agree to give them 40% of slots in parliament, in cabinet, and also other goodies which any president of the day gains when he's in top of that seat. So mine, I want to disagree with these very people. Reason being, these leaders have been there for the from 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Now it is 1 year towards general elections. Where have they been all this long? When in my county, because I come from that place, we don't have any industry or factory which administer the making of either wine or crisps from matoke. Me, I will be able to feel happy if at all these leaders will have could have first of all come together and chart the way forward for the welfare of the people who come from Kisii community. First of all, they ensure that we get a lot of resources from national government, trickled down to county government, to grassroots, so that at least if I don't have any job, I can be able to, if I have energy, I have my small land, I can be able to tilt. I get something, if it is any raw materials, I go and sell, I earn a living. But now these leaders, what they are doing right now, I'm saying this is like they are panicking, because they know very well that most of them, 85% or 90%, they are not going to make it to parliament come 2022. So wanaogopa ile kibunga which is on the way coming to sweep them. Because now look, the likes of Osoro. Osoro, he has been jumping up and down. What has he done to the people who elected him? As Osoro ensured that there is a proper disbursement of bursaries to children who have attained good grades to pursue their education? Is there electricity, as he advocated for? Is there water? I'm saying those people, in fact, who gave these leaders opportunity for the last 4 years, what have they done for their own community? If at all, they have done whatsoever they pledged in 2017 before getting into power. or getting into those positions which they are holding right now. If maybe 70 or 8% of those pledges they have achieved. So what they are doing right now, of bringing all members of parliament from Nyamira and Kisii community, I gonna give a very big tick that truly they can be able to say, yes, you sent us to hunt, but from the forest, this is what we brought for to share with you as a community. But if it is for their individual benefit and for their wives and children, then that groupings of community, I gonna say no to it. Let people support other individuals. Then the other thing about Ngungi, the senator who has been nominated by Jubilee, I gonna say it is not right. It is not right because I wanted Jubilee as a party to nominate one person from the Ogiek community. But if at all, those names which were forwarded to the registrar of parties, if there is no name from the Ogiek community, then I can support that move that let Ngungi take that very position, and he serve his own people for these 10 or 11 months which has remained as we aspire for general elections, which is on August 2022. And then to ANC party, nominating a guy from Kikuyu community, so that it can be able to testify to the entire Kenyan people that it is ANC is not a tribal. This that position which ANC has given that young man, in fact, it is too late. Reason being, for all this long, what has been Musalia Mudavadi doing? Because Balak Mluka left ANC party long time ago and joined UDA. So this is just only to hoodwink the masses that ANC is not a tribal party for the benefit of Musalia Mudavadi, because Musalia Mudavadi, you know, in his focus on the mountain, he want to show the Kikuyu community that he really has them on his heart. So, but whosoever who is going to take it seriously, that ANC party is not a tribal party, well and good. But to me, I know there are other parties, in fact, which has got individuals from all parts of the country. But to ANC party, I gonna say that is like a clickbait. So I rest my case as I hand over to you, Mr. Wekesa.
Okay, Thank you for that contribution. So, where do you think Oka is going? Is ANC going alone now that it's preparing its house, putting its house in order? Is it going alone or it will go as one? I think I saw today Gideon Moise saying that Oka is talking to Team Raila Odinga. So is Oka an extension of Jubilee ODM alliance?
About One Kenya Alliance, in fact, I don't know why these honorable individuals, they left they left NASA, because in fact they thought maybe things are very easy as they were anticipating. Running for presidency in Kenya is not something which is very easy. So Oka, what I know, what I'm seeing, Kalonzo Musyoka, he might be running alone. Musalia Mudavadi too, but Gideon Moi, he might support Raila Amolo Odinga. Reason being, you know, Gideon Moi, I know they were even in his county of Baringo, the wave of UDA is going to are going to sweep him away. So if at all he plays smart and he continue clinging to the side of Baba, I know very well, even if UDA sweeps him out of his current position of a senate of Baringo senator, and let's say Baba take presidency come 2022, at least he will get some piece of meat in his government. But if at all he is going to stay away from Raila Amolo Odinga, Gideon Moi, there is nowhere he will be able to go. But to Mudavadi, ANC, and also to Wiper of Kalonzo, if at all they are going to team up, then maybe it will be they will play as a third horse. Okay, it will play as a third horse coming to 2022 general elections, because we know we have two individuals, that is Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto, who will be able to press or to give competition against one another come 2022. But to Oka, they have a long way to go. But to me, I'm praying that they support.
But let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Can Kalonzo refuse to deputize Raila and deputize Mudavadi? Or vice versa? Can Mudavadi refuse to deputize Raila and deputize Kalonzo? Does that make sense in your own thinking if Oka has to stay together?
In fact, if Oka put their own ambitions, and then they say, now if we are going to support Raila Amolo Odinga, I'm very sure the very person who will be able to deputize Raila Amolo Odinga will be Kalonzo Musyoka, because you know the people from Eastern, when it comes into voting, they always vote as a block, as compared to ANC party of Musalia Mudavadi, where you come from, because you always divide your votes. But if at all, just 1 minute.
Okay, Penny, pick from there. I was asking about if Oka holds together. And the two principals, I think the two senior principals in Oka are Mudavadi and Kalonzo. So
Yeah.
if they become adamant that none of them want to deputize Raila,
Yeah.
they go together and they are forced, one has to be president, another one a running mate.
Yeah.
So will it be wise for Kalonzo to refuse to deputize Raila and deputize Mudavadi? Or will it also be wise for Mudavadi to refuse to deputize Raila and deputize Kalonzo? Will it be making a step up or step backward?
Refusal to back Raila by the Oka principles. You're asking whether it will be a step ahead for Raila or a step behind.
Yeah, the one case scenario, my friend has said that if they decide to go alone, even if they go alone as Oka,
Yeah.
one has to be a presidential candidate, another one has to be a running mate.
Yeah.
So if they ran away from Raila, they can't deputize.
Yeah.
But all of them cannot be president. So one of them should be a running mate of another one. Now,
Yeah.
if you refuse to deputize Raila Odinga and go and deputize Kalonzo or Mudavadi, are you making a step forward or backward?
I think it's a step backward. It is much easier to deputize Raila because he has he has a bigger following than themselves. You see, he has more muscle than them. So for them to deputize Raila would be much more. It would be much more gainful for them.
Yeah, or alternatively, if we say that Mudavadi goes and deputizes Ruto,
Yeah.
what will be his chances of becoming president?
Okay, it has been so much argued that Mudavadi, despite the fact that he's the ANC leader, but ODM is quite prevalent in his own home ground. So a lot of people look at him like someone who doesn't have so much to offer. So whether or not he would be accepted in ANC as the running mate of UDA is still something that is quite debatable because I think UDA would stand more chances by having a running mate from the Mount Kenya region as opposed to having Musalia as the running mate. UDA has more to gain from the Mount Kenya region as opposed to Mudavadi, in my opinion. And then also going by the conversation that Rigathi was having, he was saying that when the time comes to be able to pick on a running mate, the DP should not look elsewhere, but he should concentrate within the inner circle that has been there for him. So you can see that there are already expectations. You see, there are already expectations that whoever will be the running mate has to be someone within the circle, someone who has been in UDA from a certain time. So incorporating, I don't know what would be the outcome of incorporating Musalia into a running mate. Probably it would make some it would cause some instability in the UDA, in my opinion. So many people who feel indebted by the DP for the support that they have given him when he was going through the whatever, when he was going through the turmoil with the deep state, would look at him as someone who is ungrateful, and they would probably threaten, you see. So at this point, I don't think it would be very wise for the DP to choose ANC leader as his deputy or his running mate. That's
Okay, thank you so much. You can prepare your parting shot. Let me just acknowledge the people who have been on the show, and then we can close. Tomorrow is a working day.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for trust. You've been following us and making quite a number of comments. Patrick Kariuki, thank you. Justin Kanyaril, thank you so much for keeping the show live and the conversation active. Meshak Onduke, thank you so much. Robert Malley, you are always present on this show. We thank you. We appreciate your comments and your commitment. May TV, thank you for your concerns. We have taken care of that. Blessed 254, thank you for your comments. Stephen Mundu, we appreciate your comments. And Rafael Musioka, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for keeping in touch with Mtebei TV. Here we share current affairs and we focus on what is happening in the political circles, also, although there are all other topical issues that come alongside with that. So, yeah, I will give Catherine to, not Catherine, Penny to give a parting shot, and Themba too will give his parting shots as we conclude this program for tonight.
Okay. Yeah, my parting shot is that currently in our economic environment, all of us should feel free. Whoever is willing to form a party should feel free to do so. Do not feel suppressed. And I really wish to commend Moses Kuria for coming out and standing out and insisting that he will not fold his party and join UDA. Actually, it's been an eye opener, and I think he can be commended for the fact that he's the one who has actually made other communities to see the necessity of protecting their regional interests and forming parties so that we are able to enjoy the reason for which the Section 2A was repealed. The reason the Section 2A was of the Constitution was repealed was for as many parties as possible to come out and be able to negotiate. So I think for us, it's a good thing for political parties to be formed. Let's form political parties. Let's form our tribal caucuses and use them to bargain so that we are not spectators, you know. Yeah, so that's my parting shot. We should form political parties, those who are able to, and let them use the political parties as the bargaining tools for the national cake.
Thank you for that. Themba, you around?
Yeah. I can just give my parting shot that I agree with Penny. Kenya is a multi-party democracy. And we indeed need to appreciate the strength of the numbers, and the numbers cannot be realized unless we caucus within the regional. We take care of our regional strength. So I appreciate and I agree with what Penny has said. The Gusis are right to caucus within their tribal groupings, and all politics is local. So you cannot, disassociate yourself from the local interest. And we believe that the conversation is good, and hopefully it will yield some level of fruitful engagement moving forward. And we will run away from what we are being taken back to, having one party. We don't need to have a single party. Let political parties caucus, and then later they can find parties that share a common interest. Then if we can have big parties that have differing opinion but many other parties within them, then we will have achieved some level of growth and development in our political party system. Thank you so much, Wekesa, and thank you, Penny.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that it is the uniqueness of our nation that we find ourselves in tribal balkanization. However, we need to see the positive part that can come out of it. And when we are facing an election where the winner take it all, sometimes people interpret it and think like it's a tribe that takes it all. And so for if that happens, and it has been happening, then every other group becomes sensitive towards election and see what is it in for them. And that's why every group gets activated. Because when you look at the ministerial positions have been given by previous governments, people measured on the tribes that formed the government to be in those dockets. But if we reach at a place where a nation will have meritocracy instead of tribalism, then everybody else will be comfortable to be in any other party rather than their own regional or tribal affiliations. But until that happens, everyone feels safe when he is in a group where he's considered, where his opinion counts, in a group where his name doesn't betray him. And so that is the reality of the tribal Kenya, and we need to work on that so that we become one nation. Maybe in the wake of Azimio la Umoja, we need to really focus on what things do we need to collapse and what things do we need to establish so that together we can break these barriers that makes us not to appreciate each other and work together as one nation. In my last comment, I will say that we need to cherish what is positive about our ethnicity, but work towards eliminating that which makes us fight each other, that which creates animosity amongst us, and that which creates discrimination amongst us. And we only cherish that which establishes us as a nation. Otherwise, it has been a good discussion, and we call it a night. Have a good night. We meet in tomorrow's show. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.